Hi Healthy Bakers, Dr. Alexis here. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make healthy, high fiber hamburger rolls. Start by combining 1.5 cups of flour swap with 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now in this recipe, if you're using whole grain or grain-free flour, 1 teaspoon is adequate. We're gonna also add 1/2 teaspoon of finely ground salt and 2 tablespoons of everything but the bagel seasoning. And I love this one because it brings the flavor, but you can use any nut or seed that you like. Next, we're gonna add our wet ingredients. This is 1 2/3 cups of very hot water. That hot water is needed to help the psyllium husk and the flour swaps really open up and attract the moisture and bind. We're gonna add 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, and I'm sure white vinegar would work just the same. And this vinegar is gonna activate your baking soda to give your rolls a nice amount of lift. So mix your water and the apple cider vinegar in well. Everything's well incorporated, no lumps or bumps remain, so you're gonna have a nice, thick, smooth batter. So this is the dough for my grain-free flour swap. You can see it's pretty close to like a traditional dough. It's a little more crumbly, but it is kneadable. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use my hands and knead this dough just like I would for a normal bread. And once everything is nice and well incorporated, I'm gonna let this dough rest for about 5 minutes for the remaining moisture to absorb, and then I'll knead it for 1 more minute. Now I'm doing the same with the whole grain flour swap, putting in my hot water, my 2 teaspoons of vinegar to activate that baking soda. You can even see it foam up. I mix this one well. And you'll see this dough will be a little different. So it takes a few minutes for that fiber in the flour to start absorbing that hot water. Now the texture on this one is really gonna change after that 5-minute resting period. So right now in this initial stir, I'm just making sure no lumps of flour remain and all the ingredients are smooth and well incorporated. You can see it starts to turn kind of gummy and sticky. That's normal. It's just activating all the psyllium husk. Because remember, the psyllium husk in the flour swaps actually acts like a gluten component in normal flour. It's a great binder. See, it's getting a lot stickier, holding together well. Now we're gonna let this rest for about 5 minutes. Now that my whole grain swap dough has rested, you can see it's acting a lot more like a traditional bread dough. Pulls away from the glass bowl as I'm mixing it. And it's gonna be easy for us now to portion it into 4 equal pieces to bake. I'm just gonna slice this dough into 4 pieces. Just make sure your hands are fairly clean. You can also oil them so the dough doesn't stick to your hands. I'm gonna spray my hands with a little avocado oil so the dough doesn't stick. And I'm gonna form my little hamburger rolls. These will puff up quite a bit as they bake. So I usually make about 1-inch thick discs. Cute little buns. You can top each bun with a little bit more everything but bagel seasoning. And I have my oven heated to 350 degrees, and I'm gonna bake my whole grain between 40 and 45 minutes. Now I'm gonna do the same process with my grain-free dough. And you'll see this dough, it's set for over 5 minutes now. It has a kind of a spongy texture, but holds together well. So this dough, I don't really need to oil my hands with, but I am gonna use my spatula to just slice it into equal portions to make my buns. With the whole grain, you'll have to work a little harder to form your buns equally. And again, you want them about 1 inch thick and round. And we're gonna put these in a 350 degree oven. And these usually take a little longer than the whole grain, somewhere between 45 and 50 minutes. Okay, I've got my 4 cute little buns. And we're using the grain-free flour. Is gonna give you a keto, paleo, vegan, high fiber version of this hamburger bun. I'm gonna kind of press those seeds into the tops of my buns. Perfect. 350 degrees, 45 to 50 minutes. Okay, we have our cooled, healthy, high fiber hamburger rolls. The 4 on this part are whole grain swap made out of buckwheat, oats, and whole psyllium husk. They're vegan and perfectly soft, chewy, so good. Perfect for sandwiches or just slathered up with butter. Oh, so good. We've got our grain-free rolls here. These are gonna be our keto and paleo vegan high fiber rolls. You see they're not quite as big, but they puff up nicely when they bake. And they're also just really soft, airy, chewy, and great for burgers, sandwiches, anything you would put between 2 pieces of bread. Yum. These are my favorite rolls in the whole wide world. Warm buttered bread. Yum.